Good morning, everyone. Appreciate everyone taking the time to sit in on this call. Just want to start it off by thanking Coach Mike Norvell, first and foremost, for this opportunity. Really excited. As some of you guys might know, I've had the chance to work with Coach since 2017, these last 2 years, being in an offensive analyst role. Being in that role, I've been able to kind of take a step back from your normal on-field coaching duties, and been able to see this program in a little bit wider of a lens, just a different perspective, and seeing the growth that we've had here at Florida State in the last 2 seasons, make this opportunity extremely exciting for me to work with the quarterbacks at Florida State. I mean, we have some of the best players in the country with the best staff in the country, led by great men, and I'm looking forward to having more of an impact with what we do here in Tallahassee. So with that being said, I'd like to open it up for you guys, and let's get this thing going.
We'll start with Ira from Wartan.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Could you take us back to the decision to take the analyst job at Florida State and to leave an on-field role? Kind of what was the thought process, and what were your conversations with Coach Norvell like?
It was a no-brainer. To be honest with you, some people thought I was crazy for leaving an on-the-field job. You work so hard and for so many years to get there, but that's not the end goal. To work with a man that I believe in his vision, the things that he believes in, our program values, and just knowing, having been a part of it before, and knowing what he can accomplish here, what we can accomplish together, that was a no-brainer. And then to come to a place like Florida State, a lot of people are going to call it a dream job. It is a dream job. It's a job that requires a lot of work, but everybody's seen what Florida State is capable of. And so it's our goal still to keep pushing in that direction. But like I said, it was a no-brainer. It really was. Just the caliber of person and man that he is, and the easy part is the football stuff. I mean, the guy's a genius when it comes to offensive football and building a culture. And that's what we're doing here, and we've laid that foundation the last 2 years. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Chris Nee, 247.
Good morning, Tony. Congrats.
Thanks, Chris.
Can you talk about your pre-existing relationship with guys in the room, just your thoughts on them, and also what AJ Duffy is going to bring to the fold?
Yeah. Being an analyst is a little bit different. Obviously, we can't, I guess, coach, per se, the players. I'm not involved in that. My job is to make sure that Coach Dillingham was the best quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator in the country, and to make Coach Norvell the best head coach in the country. So my relationship with our guys, I'm kind of that second ear, that one that they can come to talk to, more of, I guess, away from football stuff, if that makes sense. So building that, it's really about building trust with those guys, and then that trust carries over to on the field, really. Because if they trust you off the field, if they know that you have their best interests in mind, the football stuff just falls into place. And it's easier to get them pushing in your vision and your direction when they do trust and believe in you.
Kurt Weiler with Untitled Democrat.
Hey, Tony, congratulations. I know you're a former quarterback yourself, but you've had kind of limited time getting to coach the quarterbacks. I guess, how excited are you to kind of get to coach that position, the position you played? And I guess, how much does the way this played out validate your decision to join the staff here as an analyst and kind of put in that time?
Yeah, well, thanks, Kurt. I'm obviously really excited to get to work with this position. It's a position that everybody knows is critical to the success of a football team. So, here at Florida State, we're going to play quarterback the way that I know quarterback should be played, and that's with passion, that's with detail, that's with focus. And all those things that make a good quarterback, that makes a team go, that makes a program go. So the guys that we have in our room, all those guys show those traits, and we're going to continue to build and develop off those. But I'm excited. I'm fired up and I'm ready to get to work.
Matt Marshall with Orlando Sentinel.
Hey, Tony, congratulations. You talked a little bit about your journey, becoming an analyst. A lot of guys kind of take that analyst role to kind of maybe take that next step. How important is it, what is the benefit of being an analyst? And what does it allow you maybe to kind of take a big, broader picture of, the quarterback situation and offense for Florida State?
Well, it's not even just the position of quarterback that I continue to get to learn and grow with. As you kind of alluded to, it's the bigger picture. I can take a step back and view our program through a wider lens. Seeing what we came into in 2020 when we first got here to where we're at right now, just seeing the growth that our program, our players, our coaches have gone through. I mean, it's pretty impressive. I mean, it starts with building a foundation off our core values and beliefs. People fail to forget a lot of times that coaching football and being involved in a football team, a winning team, is still service-based. Our job is to serve each other as coaches, serve the players, player to player, coach to coach, and build that relationship. Once that relationship is built, you have the foundation to continue to build something even greater. And that's what I'm fired up to help out more here at Florida State.
Ira?
What, you didn't know Alex Atkins before the last couple of years, I assume. What's it been like working with him and him in this new role as offensive coordinator?
I mean, Alex, everybody knows how smart he is. Everybody knows the X's and O's, the detail that he puts in as far as technique and offensive line play goes. But, I mean, Alex is special because for a quote-unquote offensive line guy, he sees big picture football very well. As a leader of men, I can't say that I've seen many coaches better than him. The way that he's able to coach, he coaches his guys hard. But he's able to do that because they trust him and they believe in him. As a leader of men with coaches, from coach to coach, I mean, you're talking about a guy that has absolutely zero ego. He doesn't care where the ideas come from or who gets the credit. To him, it's about getting the job done, which goes back to his offensive line background. That is in the DNA of any good offensive lineman right there, and he exemplifies that every day as a coach.
Brendan Sinone, 247.
Hey, Tony, congratulations.
Appreciate it.
So, with Jordan Travis, I know you've seen him develop closely the last couple of years. In your estimation, what has he improved the most at since the time you guys have gotten to know him? And I guess what are the next steps for him to kind of continue evolving and progressing?
Yep. Well, I mean, the obvious is he's shown that he can play quarterback. I know that's a really broad statement, but that kid can play quarterback. And there was a lot of negativity about him just in that position when we got here. And just giving that kid the confidence and the tools to go out and keep getting better. I mean, we have to get more consistent. There's obviously always room for work. That is in any room. I mean, you look at Tom Brady, how long has he been in the league for, and he's still tweaking his game to this day. But, I mean, to be able to work with Jordan, you know that you have a dynamic athlete, extremely explosive. He can push the ball downfield, and he is extremely, extremely intelligent football-wise. And, I mean the dude gets his work done in the classroom, but football-wise, I mean, he is very good. So that gives me a really solid foundation to start working with, and then as we go, we'll continue to get better.
Austin Cox, War Chain.
Hey there, Tony. Congratulations. And I kind of want to stick with Jordan Travis on this. What have you mentioned how you spent time with him kind of behind the scenes. What did you see from him last year when, between him and McKenzie both were playing, and also the way the team responded to him in the second half of the season?
Yeah. I mean, first off, with him and McKenzie, just the relationship that those two guys built. You're talking about two guys that are competitive as competitive can get. And then for them to be able to feed off of each other. And honestly, I think that having Mackenzie here, it helped Jordan grow and mature. He got to see at times, whether it was in the meeting room or on the practice field or on the game field, he got to see the game in a different way and kind of see how Mackenzie handled certain things and learn from that. The other thing that was impressive to watch with that relationship was just their ability to and willingness to help each other. I mean, to be as competitive as they were, but willing to help each other. I mean, that was pretty cool to see. But I mean, getting to work with Jordan, like you said, is exciting because of how explosive he can be. Building that consistency, and it's not just Jordan. I mean, program-wide, building consistency is something that we're pushing to this offseason, and it all starts with work.
Eric?
Hey, Coach. First, congratulations. Second, you talked already about, kind of the work philosophy that goes into how you approach coaching. But outside of that, what encompasses how you, approach teaching and growing a player?
Yep. Passion and detail. It's simple to me. I'm a Division III guy. You know what I mean? I might not be the blue blood that people necessarily wanted, but I'm the blue collar that this program needs. And I mean, our guys know what work is. Over these last couple years, it took some time for our program to actually figure out what work means. But now we know what that looks like. Now it's building the consistency off of that on a day-to-day basis to get those incremental gains and get our program to where we need it to be.
Matt, Orlando Sentinel.
Tony, I have two questions actually, real quick. One, you mentioned
Matt?
move from being a quarterback to being a coach. Do you think he would be a good coach? And then the follow-up to that is, what is your, what are your influences as a quarterback?
Can you repeat that? You cut out on me a little bit right there.
Now, the first part of the question is about Mackenzie Milton. You talked about his influence on Jordan.
Yeah.
He's talked about before in the past about being a coach. How difficult of a transition is it to be a quarterback to go to coaching? And do you think he could do that?
Absolutely. The first thing about coaching isn't even the football piece of it. Can you build trust amongst your peers, whether that's the people that you work with or the players that you coach? And do they know that you actually truly have their best interests in mind? And that trust factor, along with the care factor, those are two things that, I mean, Mackenzie, he walks into a room and he has that ability to gain that from people relatively easily. I mean, and then as far as the football standpoint goes, I mean, he obviously played a lot of football. He's seen a lot, and then really his last few years around the game, he hasn't quite been in the fire as much. He's seen it from the coach's perspective. So it's pretty cool to see in practice. I mean, Jordan will finish a series or finish a rep, and you see Mackenzie walk over and put his arm around him and coach him up on it too. I mean, he has naturally some of that. He has the natural, I guess, the it a little bit.
Avalon with Warchat.
Tony, you already kind of mentioned that, your faith and confidence in Jordan and the fact that he kind of had to deal with some negativity in terms of whether or not he could play quarterback. How important, how much of your job is going to be validating and kind of affirming to him his ability to be a starting quarterback for a program of this stature?
I mean, that is the job at the end of the day. And not just with Jordan, it's with every other quarterback in my room or just the players in our program. Our job is to build confidence with our players and our program through preparation, through the work, because the better prepared that you are, the more confidence you're going to have going out onto the field, whether that's a practice situation or a game situation. And then, I mean, I know many of you have got the chance to watch us practice. We go now and practice. I mean, we try and put our guys in uncomfortable situations. And the more that we can continue to do that, and kind of apply that pressure to our players when it's not under the bright lights of Doak Campbell or wherever that game is being played. I mean, if we can continue to sorry, my phone just started ringing. If we can just continue to apply that pressure to our guys and build those habits, I mean, that's how you build that confidence, and that's real confidence too. That's not just making somebody feel good. That is somebody going out and having confidence in their job that they can go out and execute and do it again and again and again.
Ira?
If it's a quarterback, you can take that call if you need to. We can wait. Hey, what did that experience? You mentioned playing at the D3 level, and you also coached at lower levels. What's that experience? What did that help you with in terms of coaching athletes at a Florida State in this level?
Well, you come to a place like Florida State, and I mean, you get guys that can run fast. You get big dudes that can hit hard. But when you play and work at a lower level of college football, you really embrace the detail. Obviously, the players aren't as talented. So me as a coach or me as a player, whatever that scenario might be at a lower level, you have to figure out the way to get your job done with detail, with efficiency, because you might not have the God-given gifts and abilities that some of these higher profile players have. And that's not to say that there's not good players at the lower levels, but that's also why I think you find a lot of really talented coaches that come from lower levels, because you have to learn to coach at that detail. Coach Atkins has a junior college background where, I mean, coaching those guys requires a very specific teaching skill set, you know, the detail, the patience, and then just the consistency of it to keep hammering the same points over and over again at times so they can go out and execute. And I mean, so I think that coaching at the lower levels, I mean, it's been beneficial. It's also provided me the opportunity to wear a bunch of different hats. I mean, shoot, at one point I was running the weight room, doing laundry, breaking down film, and then helping put together a game plan, you know? So you also gain respect for the other areas that make a program go, that do serve as lifeblood to the program as well.
Austin?
Sticking with, kind of your past, and, you were a guy who was a dual threat quarterback. How exciting has it been to be able to coach Jordan the past couple of years and be able to, take advantage of not just his passing ability, but also the running ability that has is so great?
Well, let's not confuse my dual threat ability with Jordan Travis's. No, he is a fun player to coach because, like I've said, he has that dynamic trait to him. Now being able to harness when he uses his legs, when to get down, when to fight for extra yards, and then just moving around in the pocket, playing quarterback, delivering the football, kind of being that point guard, right? So that is the fun and the challenge of that as well. And I mean, there's going to be plenty that we're going to be able to work on starting now, and I'm excited for it. But I mean, just to have a playmaker of his caliber and knowing where his ceiling is and what his potential is, it's exciting to see the direction that the quarterback room and this offense can move into as a whole.
Brendan?
What has stood out so far in your time working with AJ Duffy? What stood out about him?
Extremely intelligent, poised. He carries himself like you imagine a quarterback carrying themselves. He kind of has some of that it quarterback factor. Dad was a coach, so he's been around the game, and he's an absolute sponge. I mean, I get the chance to obviously meet him several times when he came here for visits, and I mean, just the chance to interact with him and his family was fun. His dad is actually from about 20 minutes from where I'm from in Massachusetts. So kind of being able to build a relationship with the family too, that's been fun. But I mean, I'm excited for AJ. the kid's got a bright future, and he is not afraid to work. So, I mean, the combination of his skill set and then his willingness to put in the work, it'll be fun. It's going to bring continue to bring a competitive edge to our room because, like I said, Jordan is a stud. He is our quarterback. But, I mean, every single day, as a quarterback, you have to have that competitive mindset every time you step on the field. And I think he brings a little bit more of that to our room as well.
Aslan?
Tony, if I'm not mistaken, you were at Memphis before Mike arrived?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So what's like your Mike Norvell origin story? Like, did you know you were pretty much going to stay on? Was it a nervous meeting? Like, can I stay? How did that all work out?
So I was at Memphis with the transition of Coach Fuente and Coach Norvell. I was actually given the opportunity to stay at Memphis with Coach Norvell. He told me, he said, I don't know what position it'll be. I don't know if it'll be a quality controller or a graduate assistant. But I've seen you work here for the last few weeks during this transition and how you've helped us, and I want to give you the opportunity to stay on. Me, being a probably overzealous young coach, I went and took a Division II job, went back to a school that I had worked at before, and it was a good opportunity for me, one where I could continue to learn. But I stayed in touch with Coach. I actually went out and worked his quarterback camp with him and Coach Dillingham in Memphis later that summer, and just continued to, I guess, feed that relationship, if you will. And so we stayed in touch, and then the opportunity came up again about a year later, and I couldn't say no. So kind of from there, whether it's been a graduate assistant, an on-the-field coach, an analyst, I've got the chance to be around one of the greatest coaches in the country, and I mean it's served me well. So I'm excited to continue to grow our relationship and keep building this program together.
Austin?
I wanted to ask you about Tate Rodemaker. He's the guy that was, kind of thrown into the fire as a true freshman. Worked the past year on the scout team. Fans haven't, gotten a chance to see him as much, but,
Yep.
You've been working closely with him. How has he progressed in the past year or so, and what have you been seeing from him lately?
I mean, physically, Tate has made great gains. I mean, just with working with Coach Storms in the weight room, changing his body, and then from the quarterback perspective, I mean, you're looking at a kid that has taken that time to settle his feet, to work on his drops, to do the stuff that's not always the fun stuff. I mean, playing quarterback isn't always about just throwing the football. And Tate has done a better job of doing some of the dirty work it takes to be a good quarterback. Him, along with everybody else in our program, though, I mean, the word is consistency. So it's for us to keep pushing forward and working the way that we know we're supposed to work, but doing it in a consistent manner. But I'm excited to see the growth of Tate and getting the chance to really work with him now.
Brendan Simone for the last one.
Is there an ideal number of quarterbacks you'd like to carry at any given time for the quarterback room? Like, is there too many, too small? Is it always kind of changing, I guess?
Let's take all the quarterbacks, please. No. I mean, I think we're always evaluating, but I don't think that there's ever really a set number. Yes, like in an ideal world, it would be awesome to have 3 or 4 scholarship quarterbacks at any given time and have those guys at your disposal. But, I mean, really, it's my job, whether they're a scholarship guy, whether they're a walk-on, whether I have 1 quarterback or if I have 6, to make sure that whether you're 1 or 6, if your number's called, you're ready to go. And so, I mean, again, I've said the word several times now, but the consistency that we can build in that room, I'm looking forward to, like I said, getting the chance to work more with these guys, be hands-on with them, and build towards that.